players about this week is that next man up. Somebody goes down, somebody else sets up in their place. You could talk a little bit about that.
I'll go ahead, say it again. I'm sorry.
Just the next man up mentality that you guys have. So many players have gone down, other players had to step up, freshmen had to step up, some people played in different positions. You could just talk about that.
Well, we stress a lot about if you're in a backup role or of really focusing on the mental rep when you're not out there, so that when you get the opportunity, because you may not get the same amount of reps that the first group gets. That's just the nature of it, and so we put a lot of pressure on those guys to know what their assignment is, and then if something happens, whether it's an injury or we want to obviously change the and sub, and they've got to be able to execute as if they're the first team. And I think that the leadership of our defense has done a really good job of making sure that guys are focused and locked in everything that we do. It goes from the meeting room, and walkthroughs, and all the individual drills.
With the different things that Ole Miss shows, is this your biggest challenge in the secondary?
Well, again, I think that we've been challenged a lot every week. The offenses that we've played, they're different in some ways, but they're kind of similar in others, in that they stress you. They put pressure on you to communicate, to execute well, put your eyes on your keys, and be disciplined with your eyes. So, obviously they're talented. They have a talented quarterback, talented wide receivers and running back, and a really good offensive line. So, a very experienced group. But I think that we've been challenged every week. It's the next opponent that's a really good team, and we've got to do a good job of executing our defense and not giving up the explosive plays, tackling really well in space, getting off the field on third down. That doesn't change, and the scheme is a little bit different from the weeks that we played, but there's some similarities also.
You're tackling so much better this year than a year ago. Is that because you have better athletes, or is it because it's been a tremendous emphasis?
I think both. I think it's been a little bit of both. Obviously, that was a main focus in the off season and spring, and it's showing up on the yards after catch. It's lower than last year. And we're missing less tackles, and we've emphasized that. But we also have new guys that competition is one of the best motivators, and I think that having the young guys come in and really push the older guys and has really added, has been really plus for us on defense.
How good's Treadwell?
Very talented, physical, big, great hands, very talented.
Willie, I know maybe I asked you this, but talking about the improvement in your secondary, how much is it that these guys are 18 games into it instead of last year they were 5 or 6 games into what you guys ran?
I think that has something to do with it. The comfort level of the coaching staff and them understanding what our scheme is has built a lot of confidence. They know what to do. They kind of understand it better. At the same time, too, they've really done a great job in the off season and preparing. Whether it's improving our tackling in space, which we have. We got to continue to really stress that, how important that's been for us in these, early on in the season, and minimize the big plays and play with great leverage. And then the competition of the younger guys, the great mixture that we have there, has really helped us from an athletic standpoint.
What makes the Ole Miss passing game so efficient? They seem to have been.
Players. That's one of it. They've got very good players, and anytime you're misdirectioning, whether it's motion, where you're showing run, and then you're throwing the ball, the play action, they're very good at it. It stresses the defense a lot. You have to be really disciplined with your eyes. You have to tackle really well and play with great leverage. Basically do your job. You really can't freelance a lot. Not that anybody really wants to do that on defense, but they force you to be really disciplined with your eyes.
Is that something that it's more important for the safeties, or is that everybody?
It's with everybody. It's everybody on defense.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Coach, I'm going to keep you long, just one or two.
Mm-hmm.
When you face a guy like Bo Wallace, how difficult does he make your job as a defensive back, or your defensive back's job, because he is able to keep a play alive? Do you have to guard, cover for a little bit longer period of time than you would maybe some other quarterbacks?
Well, anytime you have a quarterback that can run and is very efficient running the ball, puts a lot of stress in on the back end. It just forces you to be really disciplined with your eyes. Other than, really we don't have the quarterback. We have receivers that we're reading, whether it's tight ends, could be possibly running backs. And so we've got to put our eyes on our, on our keys and execute the defense and basically do your job. Don't do more than what you have to do, and not have, wandering eyes where you're sitting there staring at the quarterback, because that's where you start losing receivers and you start coming out of coverage, and is where he's really good at is making plays. When he's scrambling around or moving in the pocket.
How good are the receiving crew for Ole Miss?
They're very talented. They're big, athletic, physical guys that obviously have made a lot of big-time plays, and they're really good.
Is facing your wide receiver group who have similar skill set to them, does that help you guys in a matchup like this?
Yeah, it helps us every week. Anytime you have, the long, physical, big guys, along with the quick slots, that's going to always help you, week in, week out. And that's really the advantage that we have, is that we're able to practice against those guys every day.
Thanks, Coach. There's an ace receiver, I can't think of his name at the moment. What have you
Treadwell.
seen? Yeah, Treadwell. What have you seen of him on film that impresses you?
He's athletic, very talented, very physical, great hands. He's made a lot of big-time plays in some big-time games. He is somebody, obviously, that we've got to know where he's at all times, and because he's very talented.
6'2", 229. That's a load for a wide receiver. What kind of challenge does that add?
Well, again, the good thing for us is that we go against that every day. We've got some big receivers ourselves. Whether it's Marquez North or Kroom. I mean, those guys, they're pretty big guys. So the great thing is that they've been practicing against it. Some guys for 2 years. At the same time too, they've got some quick guys, and we've got some quick guys too. That's the great thing about this league. The guys you're practicing with, are basically the same guys that we're playing against on Saturdays.
And how has Emmanuel Mosley done in his his increased action?
He's improving. He's getting better. I mean, it was he's already improved from the game he played a lot, to the next game, and he's getting better.
Thanks.
I've asked a bunch of questions about Cam Sutton, but